Hi, welcome to Talk Back Live, a show that gets you involved in live conversation and sports with Brian Camp on Sports Update, bringing you the latest developments in today's world of sports. And now here's your host, Frank Allan.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a pleasant night to each and every one of you in your different time zones around the world and across the country. Here we are again, another Thursday. We're coming to you live in New York City. That's where we originate. And right now it's 8 p.m. on the East Coast, 5 p.m. on the West Coast. It's 1 a.m. in London, and it's on a Friday, of course. And it's Friday also in Tokyo, Japan at 9 a.m. Welcome, everybody. It's another edition of Talk Back Live. My name is Frank Allan, and I'm going to be with you for the next hour. And for the entire hour, we're going to get together. Of course, you can join in, of course, be part of this show. We'll tell you how to do that. For all of you newcomers, and we hope that there are a lot of them. We love getting newcomers for the very first time. And I have to explain this each week, and I don't mind. I don't mind at all. Here's how we work the show. I get the show started as the host, and as I'm doing right now, we'll get this information out. I'll throw out a conversation, and we'll roll with that until, of course, you want to decide that you want to roll out a conversation, and we'll help you with that too, because this program is about free exchange and ideas and of opinion. And that's what we do. So if you don't mind, if you want to do that, you're welcome to do that. And you talk back to us and you talk to other people who come in the room, and we'll all have a good time together. That's what we do each week. And those of you who are just joining us and coming in, also realize that we're coming from 3 different places. We're live on Facebook. We're on YouTube, also live on Instagram. And I see people are coming in, so I just want to wave a hi to all of you guys who are coming in right now. And stay with us for the entire hour. And make sure, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching us on Facebook, get a chance. Take the chance right now, the opportunity to tag all of your friends. You can tag this show to your friends right now as we speak. You'll get a chance to see that notification that pops up. They'll know it's coming from you. They trust you. So what you'll do is tag them. They'll hit on the right there when that comes up, that information comes up. They'll see that. They'll click it up. It'll bring them right directly to us. And they'll see you, they'll see me, and they'll see everybody else that's involved here. And those of you who are watching us on YouTube, all right? Now, this is what I do. I always encourage you to get on to my YouTube page, right? And that's my YouTube channel. And we want you to subscribe to it. Now, let me explain something to you. It doesn't cost anything to do that. All you have to do is click onto that button. If you're on YouTube right now, you see what says subscribe, take your mouse, point the arrow to it, click onto it, and it's right there. Now, the benefit of that is that I'll give you a chance to know whenever we come on live, or if we so much as post a video, you'll get a chance to get that notification. It'll automatically notify you because of the fact that you have subscribed to us. And then once you get that information, the notification there, you click onto that notification, and guess what? It brings you right to the YouTube channel, and you can see exactly what's going on, whether we posted a video or if we're on live. Because a lot of people, sometimes they may forget about what time the show comes on. And so the benefit of all of that is that if you happen to be online when the show comes on and you forgot all about it, you get reminded immediately. And all you have to do is just click on, and you won't miss a thing. So we're so glad to have you along with us. Now, here's what we got coming up as our usual thing. We got sports coming up, and that's coming up in about a few minutes from now. Brian Camp, we link up with him each week, coming out of Charlotte, North Carolina. And we're going to link up. You'll see him, and you'll get a chance to talk to him as well. And we'll talk sports. If you have any questions for him about sports or anything like that, you can get a chance to talk to him because he'll see you right there. But those of you who are watching us on Facebook and YouTube, of course, you get that benefit. But for the people who are watching us on Instagram, you won't get a chance to see him. You'll hear him, and you can still communicate with him as well, but you won't be able to see him. That's only because of the fact that we're not equipped, or let's say Instagram have not equipped us to do that just yet. Hopefully in the future, maybe they will. You get a chance to do that. But right now, the only time you can see us if you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube. So maybe you want to pick one of those if you actually want to see Brian. But nevertheless, you'll get a chance to meet him and talk to him if you like. And that's coming up. Also coming up and later on in the program, I have what we call This Day in History. That's what we do each week. We bring you what happened on this particular day, June 15th. What happened June 15th in the past, you know, like nostalgia. What happened back then? We're going to find out about that. We have all the goods for you. We'll have that coming along not too far in the show as well. And before the show is over, of course, we do, as we do each week, bring you the information about the movies. Now, I know you like those classic movies, Turner Classic movies. They all come your way, right? Well, we have our picks each week. I turn around on Turner Classic and pick them each week and relay them to you. And of course, we add on to your bucket list of what to watch during the weekend, providing maybe that's what you do in terms of doing other things on the weekend. Maybe part of the weekend you want to catch up on some old movies. So I just want to take that opportunity to add a few more movies to your bucket list of what to watch. They're fascinating movies. We'll tell you more about that later and as time goes on. Remember that all of the views and the opinions expressed on this show, Talk Back Live, does not necessarily reflect the view or the opinion of the people of Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Zoom, or any other broadcast facility or social media outlet. So there we are. It's all here. It's all here for you right here. Thank you so much for being along, ladies and gentlemen. And we're waiting for the weekend. You know, time goes so quickly. It really does. It only seems like yesterday we were here. And, you know, we've got Friday coming along. And, you know, something for some people, it's going to be a long weekend for some people, depending, you know, if your job allows you to do it. Juneteenth. You ever heard of Juneteenth? Well, that's coming up. That's declared an official holiday. Not everyone takes it, but, you know, if you happen to be fortunate enough to do that, you'll have a long weekend ahead of you. So that's coming up too. Also, we got Father's Day. We can't go without Father's Day. Father's Day is on Sunday, Juneteenth on Monday. So if you're fortunate enough to, if you're a father, you hang out with your family and your children, or if you have a father that's alive and well, you hang out with him, and then, you know, you could stay out as late as you want, providing you don't have to go to work on Monday. And then you'll have that day off as well. So all of those things are happening. They're all happening. And of course, we're in the month, of course, so you already know, everybody knows this, we're in the month right now of Pride Month. Pride Month is here. And people are celebrating. There are all kinds of celebrations for Pride Month. And you see it on TV, they talk about it on the radio, and all of those things are happening. And so all of my love going out to the members of the LGBTQ plus community. We love you and we need you. We support you. And there you go. So that's how it goes right now. You're just joining us this very moment. It's 8 minutes past the hour. It's 8 minutes past the hour right now. And of course, again, the name of the show is Talk Back Live, and let's all talk back live and talk back together. Okay, well, you know, we've got a little sad news in the entertainment industry. Thank God it's not a lot of it, but Treat Williams, a veteran actor who starred in the TV drama Blue Bloods and Everwood, well, he died Monday. Treat Williams died Monday night as a result of a motorcycle accident. Ouch. You know, those things happen every now and then. And that happened in Vermont. He died in Vermont and he was 71 years old. Or should I say 71 years young, because 71 is like a young age in this time of era, you know. So, you know, and he's a fine actor. He's a fine actor. And so I'm just sorry to hear about that. The motorcycle accident, sometimes you hear these stories. I mean, we've had stories like that in the past where people died tragically like that from motorcycle accidents and ski accidents and, you know, things like that. It's no one's fault. It's just that sometimes those things happen. So we want to send our prayers and all of our blessings out to all of those people who knew him, who loved him, who worked with him, and all of his family and friends. We send our condolences out to all of them. So that's what we have. And I'm glad that's all of the tragic news that we have today. But let's keep in mind that we try to get past each week without something happening. We try to get something, right past it. And, sometimes they just up and happen. But again, our condolences out to the family of Treat Williams. May he rest in peace. Well, you already know, ladies and gentlemen, the other news, and it's dominating the news right now. It's dominating the news all over the place. It is. You know that 345/666 beast incarnate, again, for the second time, was indicted. Oh yes, this time in Florida. And of course, he was indicted for the documents that he was holding and refused to give up. That's happening. And so he wound up in court. He was there in court and he wound up there. And so the court session must have took about, I guess, about 45 to 50 minutes. I think that's about the length of it all. So he was there, he arrived there, he was fingerprinted, no mug shots. He was fingerprinted and then arraigned, and then he stayed in that courtroom. And from the sources that I've heard from is that he was really there. He was really in a somber mood. He didn't say anything. His attorneys did all the talking. His attorneys plead not guilty on his behalf. And, they didn't have any cameras this time around, like in New York. What they did, they had cameras, not for video, for still shots. So they were able to take still shots when he was in court in New York City. And but this time around, the only kind of images that you would get were drawings from the people in court, the artists who go in the courtrooms and draw all the images. So other than that, I thought it would have been better if they had the chance to bring cameras in. This way we would have had live still shots. We saw the actual expression as we did in New York. But, we take the word of the people in there, the news media, they were there and they made the reports and they said that, he was really in a somber mood. He was stone-faced. And who showed up in court with them? Jack Smith was there, Jack Smith. And they said, from what I understand, that Jack Smith stared him down. It was like a stare down, and and they said the way it looked that 345/666 beast incarnate couldn't look him in the eye. I wonder why. I mean, you go on the air and you try to embarrass yourself by trying to embarrass someone else by talking about that person and their wives and their family, their children and all of that. And I think that's probably why, he stared him down the way he did. But Jack Smith is the man. Jack Smith holds all the cards for this guy. And 345/666 beast incarnate is not used to being out of control. He has to have control of everything. But when you're in that courtroom, it doesn't work that way. He was totally out of control. And it's just terrible. And he is known, of course, now we know who he is. We know what he stands for. He's now the disgraced, twice impeached, twice indicted, former autopilot of the country. What do I mean by autopilot? Well, for those 4 years that we have to deal with that, or we had to deal with that, this country was on autopilot. Nothing was done. So that's why I say the autopilot. So excuse me for not putting the P word in front of his name. And excuse me for not even mentioning his name. So you already know that To me, he's just a number, 345/666, beast incarnate. You've watched the show long enough to know what that means or who that person is. And of course, he tried to, rustle up some information to the people. When he found out he was going in, he went on his Truth Social media to tell all of the people, all of his followers, I'll see you there. I'll see you tomorrow morning. And he was expecting, and he was like calling for protesters to be there, which, by the way, people were like kind of shaken up about it, wondering if it was going to be another Washington, D.C. Fiasco on January 6th. Fortunately, that never happened. And a lot of those people that they thought they were going to have out there, they were like a couple of hundred people, protesters, a couple of hundred protesters. So things are still kind of thinning out for him. And it's not helpful. It's not helpful when you spew all of the rhetoric out all of the time. For instance, Carrie Lake, who, by the way, still to this day did not concede when she lost her post. She still not concede, still thinking that the election was stolen from her. And she went out and spewed out a rhetoric that it's kind of frightening. But this is what she said. I don't have the tape on hand to show you, but this is exactly what she said. And I'm going to quote her. I quote her. You want to get to Donald Trump? You're going to have to get through me, and you're going to have to get through 75 million Americans like me. And I'm going to tell you, yep, most of us are card-carrying members of the NRA, and that's not a threat. That's a public service announcement. Well, that sounds like a threat to me, guys. What about you? That sounds just like a threat to me. And believe me, those words that she uttered was, she's protected under the First Amendment, unless, of course, somebody actually follows through with those so-called threats and that rhetoric. It's terrible. So then we've got on August, we got August coming up, right? August, we've got that thing in Georgia. So I think that's coming up in August. That may be another indictment, and that happens in August. So we're going to see how all of that comes up. And there were, like I said, there were not a lot of protesters that showed up. So we know where all of these people are coming from. And for the people who are pardoning, you got some people that considered, if they become president, to pardon this guy, right? You have people like Ron DeSantis. We already know where he's coming from. You have Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, a few others, Tim Scott, and Mike Pence. Well, the only answer that they had was, I don't want to get into hypothetics. All right. So there's no answer on when they were questioned about that. They didn't want to get into hypothetics. So we don't know. They don't have a true answer. But, Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley are considering on pardoning him if they become, or if they are elected. And if 345/666 Beast Incarnate is elected, well, he's considering on pardon himself. And if he could. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tolerating that. We're a little late, but here we are anyway. And we're going to take, I had to take my time with that one. It was just something new. Anyway, Brian Kemp is here with us. All right. We've got him coming out of Charlotte, North Carolina. And as usual, he's here with the latest developments in today's world of sports. I'm sorry for all of that rambling, but I had to get that out of there.
First New York, now Florida. Georgia's next, but he's still the leading candidate for the Republican Party. How do you figure?
I don't know. I can't. No one knows how that happens.
Man, I tell you, I know we could never always. It's 37 counts in Florida. I forgot how many counts is in New York. And
New York, I think New York was, if I could remember, it was 30 some odd, 30. Somewhere in there, 36, something like that.
Can we break 100 when Georgia comes in? I mean, who's to say he might get off? I don't think he's going to do no jail time, to be honest with you. I'll be happy, minimum. I'll be happy if he just goes away and never become president or take another office again. I could live with that. Should he do jail time? That's not up to me. I'm going to leave that up to everybody else and everything. But I do not want him to be the president of this here country of ours. I just don't. I just don't. And
well, look at
again, again, I'm not a Republican. I'm not even a Democrat. I don't even consider myself an independent. I just don't get involved with politics. But I will vote because it's my duty to vote. As a American, I am, and to my ancestors who fought and died for people like me who can vote, who has the opportunity to vote. So yeah. I will vote. But it's crazy. The leading candidate, and this man is about to face another indictment coming up in Georgia, and it's just crazy.
Well, here's my take on it. I'm only saying this because this is only my opinion. I'm not a mind reader. I can only predict and say, I think this is going to happen. But I believe that he has so much baggage. He's not going to even, I don't know that, maybe he will. Maybe he will continue the race. But he's got so much baggage, because what that does now, when you have so much baggage like that, how does one sleep at night? How does one function? Your mental state goes down the tubes. But I believe what's going to happen is that, first of all, I don't think he's going to ever become president again. That's not going to happen. He can't win. He'll probably kick butt in the primaries. But when the general election comes around, I don't see that happening. I don't see DeSantis getting in there because we already know what he's all about. He already said what he's going to do. Nikki Haley, she's not going to make it. When the people, no person in their right mind, well, maybe the people who follow him, but anyone that doesn't follow this guy understands that they're not going to vote for people if they think they're going to pardon him, and they're going to vote for him. And so my stance is that I don't think any Republican is going to be in the White House until they get their act together, because they're eating each other's guts out. They're eating the Democrats' guts, and they're eating each other's guts. You can't play on a baseball team or a football team or a basketball team if you're not on one accord. And I'm sorry I took up much of your time.
I would just love the Republicans to have some kind of backbone to say, we don't want this man leading our party. We don't want this man representing us in our party and representing our country. Why can't they speak up? That's the thing about this historically with the Republicans. They don't do that.
Well, maybe they'll follow Chris Christie's lead. Maybe.
Boy, this is going to be very interesting for this here 2024 election. Everybody's throwing their hat in the ring. I mean, give me a break. It's just crazy, but this is the life of living in and being American in the United States of America. God bless this country, and he has blessed this country since its birth in 1776, and we still, as a whole, as a nation, still can't get it together. Anyway, good evening to you and to everybody out there. It is a beautiful day today in Charlotte, North Carolina, the Queen City. It is 76 degrees right now, partly cloudy, and it's been a brisk, warm day. It's been very pleasant, And as we wind down here on the East Coast here, we're going to wind down. It's about to get dark soon. And hope everybody had a great day. Hope everybody had a great day at work. Schools, for most of the part of the country, is just about over for everybody. Some of the kids are out now in the southern states. And just hope that our youngsters will get through another school year and to enjoy their summer. But I'm not going to hold you long for sports. Well, first I want to mention this one. Conor McGregor is in trouble again. He is in trouble again. Another woman came forth for sexual abuse accusation against him. This happened today. We just found out about it. I don't have all the complete story. And he punched a mascot out early this week in a baseball game. The mascot was injured. I don't get this guy. You know, this is the sport that everybody loves, the UFC, and you know he just came off of a serious injury where his leg is just snapped. It was a fight. I saw that fight, and he just got in trouble, and now he's back in trouble again. So we'll see what's going to happen. Major League Baseball, the Mets and the Yankees completed a 2-game series at Citi Field where they split the 2 games. The Yankees won the first game, I believe, on Tuesday, and the Mets won last night. So the series has been split. I think they're going to play again at Yankee Stadium sometime soon during this season. Also, the Nevada State passed a $380 million bill to for this this week to help the fund of a new stadium for the Oakland Athletics in Las Vegas. So they're trying to move the team to Vegas. The first step towards the expected move of the franchise from Oakland, while multiple steps remain to be finalized, the A's will move. That's what they're saying. Governor Joe Lombardo, a proponent of Las Vegas, adding a baseball team to the Golden Knights as an NHL team. So he owns a baseball and a hockey team. And also he had the Raiders. He was responsible for the Raiders also. If the 42, now there's 42 members on the Nevada Assembly approves it by a majority vote, Lombardo signs the bill into law. Major League Baseball owners plan to authorize the A's to relocate and end the team's half century. They've been there in Oakland for a half a century. That's incredible, because they were the Kansas City A's, they were the Philadelphia A's. So now they're the Oakland A's, and if this here comes through, they will be the Las Vegas A's. So here's a story. New York Yankee radio broadcaster John Sterling was hit by a foul ball from Justin Turner in the ninth inning of the Yankees 3-1 win over the Red Sox last weekend. I heard the tape, got hit, but he continued his commentary without missing a beat. But he did say, yes, he did get hurt, but he was fine. So he's a professional. He's 84 years old. Many of you may heard of John Sterling back in the early days, in the early 70s, when he used to be the announcer for the New York Islanders and the New York Nets in the old ABA. When the Hockey Islanders used to score a goal, he used to shout out, "Islander go, Islander go!" And another famous broadcast he made was when the Nets was about to win their ABA championship. This is a famous call where he says, "Give it to Julius, give it to Julius." Julius Erving, Dr. J. Yes, Dr. J used to play in the ABA for the New York Nets. And John Sterling then since then moved down to Atlanta. He was a longtime broadcaster for the Atlanta Braves. And now he's back in the New York area where he belongs. Yes. So I'm glad he's okay. But he never missed a beat after the foul ball hit him. He's doing fine. The Toronto have this Blue Jays has designated for assignment pitcher Anthony Bass for reassignment. The reliever made headlines last week after sharing a post on social media that called for the LGBTQIA plus boycotts of Targets and Bud Light. Bass described the sale of the LGBTQ as merchandise as evil and demonic. So you cannot do that. You can't say that, So he's being reassigned. I don't think his career is over, but this is part of his punishment. NBA, congratulations to the Denver Nuggets winning their first NBA title. It's been 47 years since the franchise merged with the ABA to join the NBA. They was one of the 4 teams that came over. The San Antonio Spurs, the Indiana Pacers, the New York Nets, and now the Denver Nuggets. And the Nuggets are the world champions. They won it this past week. This day in sports, June 15, 1928, Philadelphia Athletics star Ty Cobb steals home for a record 54th time. 54 times stealing home plate. 1938, first night game at Brooklyn's Ebbets Field. The Reds beat the Dodgers 6-0. 1951, Joe Louis, former boxing champion, scored his last knockout in a victory. 1969, remember the Miracle Mets? Well, the Mets helped their power needs by adding first baseman Don Clendenin. I don't know if some of y'all remember Don Clendenin. He's a tall, lean guy. Number 22 used to wear, and he helped the Mets down the stretch and on the way to their first World Series champion. Baseball jersey of Babe Ruth becomes most expensive sports. This happened in 2019 by selling it for $5.64 million. That's a record. Babe Ruth's jersey. Birthdays, 1938, Billy Williams, Major League Baseball Hall of Famer, used to play for the Chicago Cubs, was born in Whistler, Alabama. 1948, Mike Holmgren, NFL coach and executive, was born in San Francisco, California. 1949, Dusty Baker, Major League Baseball outfielder and manager, was born in Riverside, California. Dusty Baker was also the one that was on deck when Hank Aaron hit his famous 715 home run back in 1974. 1956, Lance Parrish, known as Big Wheel, was a major league player, was born in Clareton, Pennsylvania. 1958, Wade Boggs, former Boston Red Sox, then went to the New York Yankees and won a ring there. Hall of Famer third baseman, was born in Omaha, Nebraska, same state where the late Johnny Carson used to live. 1972, Tony Clark, Major League infielder and union leader, Major League Baseball Players Association director, was born in Newton, Kansas. And in 1984, Tim Lincecum, Major League Baseball player for my San Francisco Giants, was born in Bellevue, Wisconsin. And ladies and gentlemen, that is sports on a beautiful day here in the Queen City of Charlotte.
Give it to Julius. Give it to Julius.
Give it to Julius. Give it to Julius.
He just gotten so involved in that game. They should have put him on the court as a coach and let someone else do the announcing.
That's right. Yeah. Well, you know what? He's most famous now when the Yankees win a game. The Yankees win.
He's going to go down in history as a character, as that character. Yeah. You know, a lot of these announcers, they have their own catchphrases that last forever. And when they're dead and gone, people are going to remember them for that. You know, I know
he used to have his show in New York, WMCA.
Yeah, that's right.
On at nights. He used to come on at nights. In fact, I believe, if I'm correct, you probably could tell me differently. I believe he came on after Bob Grant, because Bob Grant used to do the rush hour drive. Actually,
he came on after Leon Lewis. Leon Lewis followed Bob Grant. From Bob Grant, we used to do the 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. show. Leon Lewis came on for 2 hours, 3 hours, I guess. No, 2 hours, from 1 to 4. And then John Sterling came on from 4 to 7.
Okay, yeah. What a lineup they used to have.
They had a great lineup. A friend of mine that I used to work with, Joan Hamburg, when I was at WOR, worked there at the same time as well. But they did have a great lineup.
Yeah.
And that was the old days of radio and broadcasting. They don't have any more John Sterlings anymore. You know, he's the last of one of the great. And then Marv Albert, who's retired now. He had his catchphrase. Yes, that was his catchphrase.
Marvelous Marv Albert. Yes,
it was Marv. And Michael K has his little catchphrase. See ya.
See ya. Yeah. John Sterling had, if he wanted to, before Michael K came on, he could have been on the television side. But because John Sterling always loved radio, even when he was in Atlanta, when he was doing the Atlanta Hawks and Atlanta Braves game, he chose to do radio. He's from the old school,
Yeah. Susan Waldman, I would have loved to see her. She used to do TV too before Michael K.
Yeah.
Susan Waldman. She's still on the air. She does radio.
Yes.
But I used to love her on TV. And you're right. I think John Sterling would have made a great announcer for TV for the Yankee games. It would have been great.
He could have been on the television side, but he chose to stay on the radio side.
And I'm not taking anything from Michael K, because Michael K he's got everything locked up over there now, so there's no one could bowl him over right now. And plus Michael K has his own show on radio, and he also has his show called I think what's the name of that show called?
On the Yes Network.
Yeah, on the Nest. Yes. I can't think of the name of the show offhand.
It's the Michael K show with John McGregor.
Yeah, he has the Michael K show, but there's another show that he has when he interviews sports figures and other people.
Oh yes, that's what is the name of that?
Something.
I haven't seen it in a long time. Is he still doing it though?
I don't know.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll see you back here tomorrow.
Regular time, 10:20.
Okay, we'll be looking for you then.
Okay.
And, we'll talk more sports and all those other things that you have to work with. Okay. All right. We'll catch you tomorrow. Bye. Take care of yourself. I was Brian Camp, ladies and gentlemen, with the latest developments in today's world of sports on Sports Update. Of course, he's going to be back here tomorrow on the coffee hour. Of course, I hope that you'll be here too as well. He's got more sports. And of course, if you have any information about sports or maybe questions that you want to relay to him, even though he's not here right now, we could still set out those questions for him and he'll be able to answer tomorrow. And if he's online now, we'll if he's still there, sometimes he hangs around and you might have any questions. And if you do, we'll just relay all of those questions to him. We're sorry we took so long, and we're sorry to put him on so late, but we had to get that information out there. News come out and there's just so many things. And I don't like to linger on those things too many times, but there was just too many things happening during that week. And on that weekend, the thing that really bothered me the most was that Carrie Lake. She came out with that. And here's a lady, Carrie Lake. Here's a lady that used to be, and she ought to know better. She ought to know better. And she used to be a journalist. I don't know what happened to the journalists these days. They're not objective anymore. They have to be on one side instead of, we already know that if you have a side that you're going to root for, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but you don't have to take the sides, you don't have to broadcast, be so non-objective because you're asking questions from both parties, Republican, Democrats, and if you agree with them, that's fine. That's all. You just keep your mouth shut and do your job. And that's the problem with Fox. I know Fox News, man, they went out of their mind. They went out of their mind when 345/666 Beast Incarnate, Janine Perillo, I think that's how you pronounce her name. She had a meltdown on the air. It's over, guys. It's over. No matter what you say or what you do, this thing is over. And no matter how much you say it, we should stop this. This is un-American. This is un-American. Un-American for who? You? or 345/6666 Beast Incarnate. It's not un-American. He brought it on himself. And now, as the old saying goes, as you guys already know, the old saying is you make your bed and you lie in it. You know, we reap what we sow. We pay our debts to society. And speaking of paying debts to society, he's got a lot of debts to pay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. Just in case you're just joining us, the name of the show is called Talk Back Live, and we're talking. And if you want to interject, or if you want to, say something in contrary to what we were talking about here, if you'd like to jump in there, we'll be free, and we'll be glad to have you do that. That's what they call a rebuttal. We take those. We listen to everyone, and whether we agree with you or not, you get free exchange and ideas right here. Okay, it's about that time right now. Let's get started. On this day in history in 1921, Bessie Coleman earns her pilot license in France, becoming the first African-American woman and Native American woman to hold one of those licenses. On this day in history in 1927, the Ford Motor Company manufactures its 10 millionth automobile. On this day in history, still in 1924, J. Edgar Hoover assumes leadership of the FBI. On this day in history, in 1943, Congress of Racial Equality, which is known also as CORE, was formed. On this day in history, in 1948, WPIX-TV, Channel 11 in New York City, independent station, starts broadcasting. On this day in history, in 1953, New York City Transit Authority was formed. Now, let me explain something here. That was the name that was formed. The New York City Transit Authority, that was the name that was formed. The company have been around forever, but this was back in 1953. That name, they picked up that name, New York City Transit Authority. They don't even call that anymore, Transit Authority. Back in 1955, on this day in history, the Eisenhower administration stages a first annual Operation Alert exercises, an attempt to assist the United States of America participation for a nuclear attack. And on this day in history, back in 1957, the Ziegfeld Follies of 1957 closes at the Winter Garden Theater in New York City after 123 performances. Back in 1960, The Apartment, starring Jack Lemmon and Shirley MacLaine, premieres in New York. And back in 1963, Richard Rodgers and Oscar Hammerstein's musical, The Sound of Music, closes at the L'Enfontaine Theater in New York City after 1,443 performances. Back in 1965, Bob Dylan records his single, Like a Rolling Stone, which reached #1 in the Rolling Stone magazine and 500 greatest songs of all time. Back in 1967, The Dirty Dozen, starring Lee Marvin, Ernest Borgnine, and Charles Bronson, is released in the United States. Back in 1967, Governor Ronald Reagan signs liberalized California abortion bill. On this day in history, back in 1968, Yummy, 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 I Got Love in My Tummy. Remember that song? Great song of the 60s. That was done by Ohio Express. It hits #4 on the charts. Back in 1969, Hee Haw with Roy Clark and Buck Owens premieres on CBS TV. Back in 1973, Let's Get It On, single done by Marvin Gaye, was released and made Billboard's R&B Song of the Year in 1973 and #4 overall. Back in 1974, Back Home Again, the 8th studio album by John Denver, is released and made Billboard Album of the Year in 1975. In 1974, also, novelty song, The Streak. Remember that song? A novelty song it was done by Ray Stevens and hits #1 on the UK pop charts. Back in 1983, the Supreme Court struck down state and local restrictions on abortion. And back in 1990, the film Dick Tracy, starring Warren Beatty and Madonna, premieres. Back in 1998, the 32nd Music City News Country Awards go to Neil McCoy, Laurie Morgan, and Billy Ray Cyrus. Jazz pianist Errol Gardner was born on this day in 1923 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He died January 2nd, 1977, at the age of 53 years old from cardiac arrest. Country singer Waylon Jennings, born on this day in 1937. He was born in Littlefield, Texas, and he died February 13th, 2002, at the age of 64 years old. He was from diabetic complications. Singer-songwriter Harry Nilsson was born on this day in 1941 in Brooklyn, New York. He died January 15th, 1994, at the age of 52 years old from a heart attack. Back in 1946, Janet Lennon of the Lennon Sisters was born, and she was born in Los Angeles, California. She's still alive and well. She's 77 years old today. Remember, the Lennon Sisters were famous for appearing on the Lawrence Welk Show. Back in 1946, actress Judy Pace was born in Los Angeles, California. She's also 77 years old today. In 1954, comedian James Belushi, the brother of John Belushi of Saturday Night Live, was born in Chicago, Illinois. He's 69 years old today. In 1955, actress Julie Harley, who appeared in that film, the comical movie Airplane, was born in Cincinnati, Ohio. She's 68 today. Mad About You actress Helen Hunt was born on this day in 1963. She was born in Culver City, California. She's 60 years old today. Actress Courtney Cox was born on this day in 1964. A lot of people born on this day in 1964. And she was born in Birmingham, Alabama, and she's 59 years old today. Guess who else was born on this day in history? Back in 1969, Ice Cube was born. He was born in Los Angeles, California. He's 54 today. Actor Neil Patrick Harris was born on this day in 1973 in Albuquerque, New Mexico. He's 50 years old today. And let's go back to 1928. King Kong actress Fay Wray. That's the one that King Kong had the little lady in his hand, right? Well, she weds playwright and screenwriter John Monk Sanders. Back in 1945, American singer and actress Judy Garland. She weds American director Vincente Minnelli, and they got divorced in 1951. In 1968, actor Dudley Moore weds actress Susan Kendall, and they got divorced in 1972. In 1969, romance novelist Jackie Collins, the late Jackie Collins, weds second husband, American theatrical producer Oscar Learman, and they got married at the home of her sister Joan, actress Joan Collins. The year 2000, actress Candice Bergman, you know her from Murphy Brown, right? She weds New York real estate magnate Marshall Rhodes at a Manhattan synagogue. The year 2002, actor Charlie Sheen weds actress Denise Richards, and they got married in Brentwood, California. In the year 2010, actor Harrison Ford weds actress Calissa Flockhart. She played Ally McBeal, and they got married in Santa Fe, New Mexico. In 1989, singer-songwriter Courtney Love. Yeah, she was a singer-songwriter, Courtney Love. She divorced vocalist James Moreland only 4 years after they got married. In the year 2011, actress Elizabeth Hurley divorces her businessman husband, Arlen Nayar. In 1984, actor Ned Glass dies of a heart attack at the age of 78. Now, Ned Glass, if I can remember, Ned Glass played Doc in the West Side Story, right? Got that right. Also, Ella Fitzgerald died on this day in 1996 at the age of 79 years old from diabetes. And she was born April 25th, 1917, and she was born in Newport News, Virginia. And finally, disc jockey Casey Kasem died on this day in 2014. And he died at the age of 82 years old. And he was born April 27, 1932 in Detroit, Michigan. That's this day in history. And those of you who have any information that I didn't display here, maybe I didn't hear about it or know about it, or maybe didn't pick up, maybe you know something, and just relay it to us. And of course, we'll be glad to put it out there for you and tell everybody, the whole wide world, about what happened on this day in history. We're so glad to have you aboard with us. Thank you so much. The name of the show is called Talk Back Live. We're talking back live together, and thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, those of you who would like to get in touch with me personally, you can do that. I have two things, right? Two things. That's crazy. I have two, what do I want to say? I have two options for you. You can either email me or you can call me. Let me start with the email address first. The email address is frankallanprod@aol.com. Allan is spelled A-L-L-A-N, prod is P-R-O-D, that's short for productions. That's frankallanprod@aol.com. That's frankallanprod@aol.com. Or you can call me at 641-715-3900, extension 467134. That's 641-715-3900, extension 467134. When you contact us, you may want to contact us about something you heard on the show or other information that you think we might give you or be able to give you. Or if you want to critique the show, which is fine, we'd love that too. We'd love to hear from you on that one too. Maybe you have some kind of idea for the show, or maybe there's someone that you want to see appear on the show. All of that we take in consideration. All you have to do is just contact us. And there you are. We'll talk about it together. So let me give you that email address once again. It's frankallanprod@aol.com. That's frankallanprod@aol.com. Or the telephone number is 641-715-3900, extension 467134. That's 641-715-3900, extension 467134. And we look forward to hearing from you. We definitely look forward to hearing from you. You know, we talked about earlier in the program. Early in the program, we talked, right? We talked about we're in the midst, and here we are in the midst of Pride Month, right? We're in the midst of that right now. We're in the midst of Pride Month, and there are so many celebrations. And the reason why I want to go back to this subject is because just yesterday, as a matter of fact, just yesterday, I was going through, and I love to listen to other people who have shows either on Facebook or YouTube, just like us, or Instagram. I love to listen to other people's shows. And this one guy who I'm not really familiar with, I ran into his. I don't know if it's a full-blown show, or just something that people just like sometime to record something and get it out on the air and make their comments known. Well, he was talking about the Pride Month, and he was talking about people in the LGBTQ plus community. And he said a few things that it kind of rubbed me the wrong way, because, you know, all of us, you know, we have our opinions about certain things. We understand, you know, but we don't hear on this show, at least not on this show, we don't ostracize anyone or make anyone feel bad or shame anyone. And this guy, his whole stance, he was supposed to be a Christian. He's a Christian. You know, he goes to church, he's a Christian, and he made some kind of comment. He says, now I understand, like the gays and lesbians and the trans, you know, they have their thing, do their thing, you know. He says, but why? He says something like, why do we have to be forced to celebrate? I'm not getting that. Why do we have to be forced to celebrate? This comes from him. So I'm thinking to myself, who's forcing him to celebrate? Nobody forces anyone to do anything, you know? But I bring that back because when you call yourself a Christian, you're supposed to embrace people, no matter what they do, no matter what their skin color is, their religion, their political beliefs, or whatever, or their sexual orientation. And you know, he wasn't like knocking them to the wall. He says, you know, I believe that, you know, they should, you know, join and stop, you know, laying this on our kids. Forget about that. They're not doing any of that. They're not grooming your children. They're not doing anything like that. I don't know where you get that information, but they're not doing anything like that. This is Pride Month. They celebrate. Just like if you're an Italian or you're Black or you're Irish, you celebrate St. Patrick's Day. You celebrate Christopher Columbus Day because it's pride. I'm proud to be an Italian. I'm proud to be Irish. I'm proud to be Black. Well, that's the same thing with the LGBTQ community. It's the same thing. It's pride. And you know something? If you're a Christian, one of the things that you have to know, you should embrace these people. You should embrace them. Because guess what? God loves them as much as they love you. You know, you don't ostracize people, you don't shame people, they're human beings. I would like to ask this guy, if someone that was gay or lesbian or queer or trans, if they wanted to come to your church, would you let them in? You know, if they wanted to worship with you, would you let them in? If they wanted to come to your synagogue, would you let them in? Or your whatever, or your mosque, would you let them in? You know, if you claim that you're a Christian, then you act like a Christian. And one of the things to act like a Christian is to love people. Love people. Don't care what they are. Love them. And we love them. We love our brothers and sisters in the LGBT community. We love you, if no one else does. And continue your great celebration. And for the whole entire month, that's what they're celebrating, Pride Month. Okay, I have movies. I better get quick because if I go up the air and do this, it won't be a good thing. Okay, let's get started right now because these are movies that I have, my picks of the week that maybe you might be able to enjoy. All right, I have them right here. Let's start off from 1943. Here's a movie called Reveille with Beverly, starring Ann Miller. Frank Sinatra is in there somewhere too, but he's not like the main character in there. 1943, Reveille with Beverly, and you can check that out. It's a great black and white musical. It's there, a lot of great music and dancing and all of that great stuff. That's on Saturday. You can catch that 12 p.m. Eastern. Fiddler on the Roof, back in 1971, could be seen also on Turner Classic Movies. That's on Sunday at 11:45 a.m. And if you want to wake up that morning and you have to go to church, DVR them, and you can watch them at your own convenience. And finally, since we're into Father's Day, right, here's a good one to watch. On Father's Day, this Sunday, and it happens to come on Sunday, Father of the Bride from 1950, starring Spencer Tracy, Elizabeth Taylor, and Joan Bennett. That's on Sunday on Turner Classic Movie, and you can catch that at 10:15 p.m. Eastern. And so if you want to go to Turner Classic Movies and check out others, because there may be others that you might like and you want to DVR them for later and watch them later, you can do that. But these are my picks of the week. And there's so many other things you can choose from too. There's so many other things you can go. There are a lot of networks and a lot of documentaries and all of those things and free movies and pay-per-view, and they're all right there. So these are my picks of the week. And let me repeat them one more time for you. You have Reveille with Beverly from 1943, Ann Miller, and that's Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern. Fiddler on the Roof, and that's on Sunday at 11:45 a.m. Eastern on Turner Classic Movies. And finally, Father of the Bride, starring Spencer Tracy, Elizabeth Taylor, and Joan Bennett. That's Turner Classic Movies. That's Sunday at 10:15 p.m. And so I hope that you like these movies. That's going to wrap it up for me. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. for the coffee hour. Brian Kemp will be with me with sports. I hope you will be here too. We'll enjoy ourselves, have a good time. If not, catch me back here next week at 8 p.m. Eastern. 8 p.m. Eastern for more of Talk Back Live. Brian Kemp will again be with me with sports. And of course, we'll have more conversations and the conversations that you like as well. All you have to do is request it. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you have a great Father's Day and a great weekend. Until then, good night, good luck, and we'll see you soon, all right? Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.
You've been watching Talk Back Live with your host, Frank Allen. The producer is Al Dale. Technical assistant, Dave Taylor. Research by Sandy Pierce. And I'm your announcer, Donna Stenke. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Talk Back Live.